That's the sound of your current hype level at the gas pump. But brace yourself for something fuel nominal, because Unleaded 88 is about to take the hype to a whole new level. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Grainger has you covered. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
From days long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
The dream that came through 1,000,000 years, that lived on through all the tears.
It came here, the Fandom Nexus.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to our host as he plugged in his microphone.
I have a podcast!
Here he is, your Spider-Pan, Jeremy.
Did you miss me? I know, it's been like 3 weeks. We haven't been able to do a show, but I've got good reason for that. It's just, I've been kind of dealing with some stuff in my life, and if I'm not in the right mental place, I'm not going to be able to create a good show. And so that's kind of where that goes. And I'm not going to get into it here. I've thought about on my my Instagram and TikTok going into why I am trying not to be a rage baiter, which although you can get popular real fast being a rage baiter on YouTube and on everything to say, this is what's horrible about this movie, and rah, or this is what's horrible about this, rah, let's all be mad together. I don't like I end up watching some of that, but I don't want that to be what this show is. It's not supposed to be about what's wrong with a lot of things. It's supposed to be fun. So if it's not fun, we don't talk about it. But we're going to have fun today because, hey, Lost Boy Phil's with us today.
Hey, did you say you're on your tic-tac?
Yeah, our tic-tac-toe. Yep. We're going to have some fun today. We're basically playing catch-up with a lot of celebrity deaths in July. We had San Diego Comic-Con and a lot of different kind of news and things popped up. Also, Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 1. So I am prepared to discuss that. I don't know if you've got a chance to watch it.
I have, actually.
Okay, cool. So we can talk that.
I forgot it was only Part 1.
Yeah, it's only Part 1.
Ending it like that? And I was like, oh, that's right. There's going to be another part.
Yeah, and you are really quiet, but I can't blend you anymore with like the music out there. I don't know. I'm going to turn your volume up a little bit there.
Okay. I'll try to talk better into it anyway.
Yeah, bring it up a little closer. There we go. We want to be able to hear you because you're going to be you are the same volume as any sound that my computer makes. Unfortunately, I wish I could separate you.
Sorry.
When we get to where we're in the same point, and that's something I want to let everybody know. We are one step closer. If you enjoyed us doing the Batman thing, we're one step closer to being able to do going to be a separate podcast and even a separate YouTube thing where I have to watch movies that I ain't never seen before, but also one where we're just going to commentate on movies we are familiar with, and hopefully you are too. That way you don't mind us talking over it, but you might think it's fun. And I took my lapel mic off. I forgot I was going to let y'all hear what this lapel mic sounds like because you get so used to hearing my groovy voice sounding through this thing.
That's right.
My RE20. The lapel mics does not sound this good at all. I will warn you now. But it'll be fun. It will be fun. We are one step closer to making that a reality. I gotta order another mic set, and then we will. I mean, we got a bunch of different movies. He still wants me to watch Old Yeller. I had hoped that we could sit around and be able to watch Field of Dreams while it was still baseball season. I think we're running out of time.
That's a great movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I watch too much stuff, honestly, but I love movies, and some movies are better than others, in my opinion. But my opinion is always right, in my opinion. No, but some movies are really great classics, and others are good, but not necessarily classics, in my opinion. But the great thing about this is we'll watch just about anything. Some movies are a little too, I call ornery, and I don't always agree with the orneriness, but we're going to try to do mostly fun and mostly peaceful things. And by that, I mean not going to get into all the vulgarity that some things have.
Well, I'm known for doing a clean, family-friendly podcast,
Yes.
and I don't expect this one to be any different.
Yes, that's right.
Although there will be some movies with some language in it, but you're not going to hear the movie.
No,
you're going to just hear us. So we want you to watch along with us as we watch. But that even also opens it up. If we want to, we could watch like Rambo, because the language and stuff is not going to come through the podcast unless we're cussing, and we don't.
No.
So there we go. So, fooled you. Okay, there's an inside joke, y'all. For Tremors, when it was adapted for television, and the guy and Kevin Bacon going, fooled you. Fooled you. So, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yes. So, of course, the general kind of things, and I'm going to switch camera back to me. I was looking at you, and you're not doing anything.
Oh, that's all right.
Not yet. But we have, what have you been watching? And, of course, we mentioned we're going to talk about Cobra Kai later. But outside of Cobra Kai, kind of some fun thing I've been watching. I keep starting this and I never quite get finished, but other than the Olympics, I've been watching the Olympics and cheering on Team USA. They're winning some medals. It's awesome. But on YouTube, on Mattel Creations, like an official channel, you can watch the 2000X Masters of the Universe series. So I've been trying to watch through that because I realized I didn't get a chance to watch the entire series. So I'm trying to watch all of that. I'm still in the middle of season 1, and season 2, you get to the Snake Men, which is now the Snake Men. They're starting to get some toys of the Snake Men out. And even some sort of a snake layer or something. I hadn't followed this very well, but I guess they might have done through a vote of some sort that they're going to make a snake layer or whatever. They decided at San Diego Comic-Con to release the images of this snake layer, and some people were like, well, hey, cool, that's something I don't think we've really had before, and other people were like, I still kind of want the Fright Zone, and so...
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get a Fright Zone at some point.
I had the Fright Zone when I was young. When I was 10 years old for Christmas, I got Snake Mountain, and I got the Fright Zone, and I got to plus I already had Grayskull, and I got to tell you, man, I had down here where I'm at right now in this basement, I had Eternia everywhere.
Except for the main Eternia set.
No, because that
was expensive.
That came out around that time, but there was no way. Now, later on, not even a year later, I went over to a cousin of mine in Wisconsin, and he had that. Ooh. He didn't have everything, but he had that set. And he had, I don't think he even had Grayskull, but he did have that. And boy, oh boy, did we have a good time with that.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of good He-Man guys I didn't have. He had a few that I did. But boy, did we have a blast. It was like, it almost felt like a roller coaster, that thing. There's no way I'm going to buy that thing that they're bringing out. Like, oh, it's only $500 a month. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I spent enough buying 7 Aerith figures.
I don't even have enough room to place that stuff at. There's no way.
And that's one of the things I was concerned that. I should get this on camera for those of you who are watching the video. But because you ordered us both, and thank you very much. Too Bad.
No problem.
The new Too Bad, which comes in a really cool package, and I have not taken this thing out the box. Although I watched Pixel Dan take his out, and they do have it set where you could take them out and yet put them back nicely into the box.
Yes,
and it's such a nice display there, though. But I was worried, where am I going to fit this? Because I still have designs on the Adam and Cringer set. I must have.
I also love. Yes, I have that. But what I love is that it's like when you get that set, it's like having 3 characters in a sense. Because what you have is you have what's his name?
Tuvar, Badrak, and Too Bad.
And Too
They
Bad.
need a Bendigo, and they have the whole set.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, something about Badrak sounds like. Oh yes, and there's the comic.
The comic right here.
Yes. For those of you who are watching, getting the video, by the way, if you're a patron supporter on Patreon, you can see video sometimes, not always, of the podcast that is more than just the album cover that you're going to get on YouTube. And he's holding up the comic. It is called Hostile Convergence. It is a flip book in the fact that you flip it one way, and it's the story of Tuvar, and the other one is Badrak. I think I'm saying that right. I'm gonna go grab my box.
Yeah, You are, and what I like is in the middle, it meets.
I feel like I need to grab the box just to show it to people watching at home anyway.
Yeah, it meets right in the middle.
Yes.
Where
you two can't get along? Well, too bad.
Yeah, too bad. I love it. They did such a good job, and I could hear the voices of the characters all the way through it. You know, I must admit, of the 2 characters, and they're both bad, by the way.
Yeah,
they're both bad people. But I must admit that I felt more for Tuvar than Badra, because you get a backstory, which I enjoyed. I thought they did a really good job telling the story.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It totally was awesome and worth it, and the packaging was really cool. So, Yes, that's kind of been what I was watching. But the fun part comes in what I've been playing this week, because last time I was recording, I think I was still trying to, although I was admitting defeat a little bit to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I have officially declared defeat and stopped playing it. I'm not going to beat it on hard mode. But you would think, okay, so I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, which is an online, and I was having a lot of fun with that, and I found some people, I think, connected with the Retro Rewind podcast. I think somebody was in that group, and he was playing it as well. And I'm trying to get where I can have other people to play with. But what happened is I finished playing with 7, and I decided I want to play Final Fantasy 16, which is the one that came out last year. Having a lot of fun.
They had that many.
Oh yeah, this has been going on since the old Nintendo. This series.
I knew they'd been around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah.
I lost track. I never got deep into it. I only played a little bit with you. That was about it. But I didn't know.
Yeah, you played a little bit of the 7 remake.
Backwards.
Yeah, and I think I've enjoyed it more as it's gotten more to the action RPG style, where you have a little bit more control of the combat. Because I was more of a fan of like Legend of Zelda than having my characters all lined up and then we take turns. But you know, the original Final Fantasy VII back in '97, they did try to put like a timed event, so it wasn't necessarily turn-based, but it was still menu commands. I have enjoyed playing the original game, though. Especially, I came back and replayed it. You know, it's like the first time. I think I've told this story many times. I'm an Aerith fan, and in the original game, I had it spoiled for me from a magazine of what was going to happen to her. Which I won't spoil it for you because maybe you don't know. Yeah, y'all know. And so I stopped playing because I was like, oh, I don't like that. And so I stopped playing and I went on to something else, probably Resident Evil, because I played a lot of that. But, you know, the remake was coming and I got excited. It's like, oh, man, you know, this is another chance to play it. And I played the demo. So, this is more of an action-oriented. I love the combat system. But so I've come back to start playing again. So since then, I've played 15, enjoyed 15. But I've been playing 16 here lately and really been having a good time with it. The story, though, is very complicated because you got some political intrigue going on, and there's something horrible beneath the surface of everything that you don't quite understand what's going on, but it is definitely having an effect on your adventure. And I've been having a grand time playing with that one, and it's definitely a lot more action-focused. And they even give you an option to, you know, if you don't want to make your attack complicated, because you can get like different styles, like you go to like a stone or lightning or a fire style at this point where I'm at, and a wind style. And if you don't want to have to deal with changing that up, you can just hit your attack button. Oh, we're still looking at you. I just realized I should switch the camera to me while I'm talking. Hi. I'm controlling the cameras manually for those of you who are listening to audio and you're missing out. But in order to save you the time of the complicated of trying to do some of the specialty moves, you can set yourself up for just story-focused mode, and you can just have one attack button. And I've done that just to say, because I'm 47 years old, and I don't do these things as well as these 10-year-olds do anymore, okay? Although a 10-year-old probably shouldn't be playing this, because, wow, this is the first Final Fantasy I've played that has this many F-bombs. Holy cow.
Oh, really?
I think they were trying to compete with this was being developed at the time of Game of Thrones, so they thought, oh, it's a fantasy medieval setting, and everybody's cussing. There is some, not full nudity, but there is some stuff like, oh, this person's naked. Because there's implications that people are doing things. But I am having fun with it, and it's nice to be able to do through the combat and how many spectacular moves I can pull off. And I can do the moves still manually if I like, I want to do this. Although I am finding that I want to do one of my fire moves, and I hit just a single button to do one of the fire moves, and it has switched me over to a different magic, and it throws me off. The one thing, like when I'm doing these spectacular things, and I'm kind of glad to hit just the one button, and this maybe because I am 47 years old, is it happens at a very fast and frenetic pace, and you've got visual effects that are going on like all over the screen half the time of fire or electricity, something flying around all over the screen that like sometimes I lose track of what's happening if I'm in a badly lit area of the game, and there's a lot of them where you're in the dark and the only thing I'm really seeing is my flames and a little bit of my character. So that would be like the only critique. It's hard to follow, but I appreciate them giving me, I can control an entire battle with one button if that's what I need to. If I can't tell what I'm doing, I can just keep doing that, and it'll time and take care of things, and even help me block if I can't see something. So I will give the credit for that. But yeah, I'm 47 years old. I don't play games as well as I used to, or as well as some 10-year-old does, who a 10-year-old should not be playing this game, though. Anyways, yeah, Phil, you were talking about magic.
So you're talking about the magic. Is this like the kind of like a card game where you just collect this spell and that spell, or is this the kind
this
where
is
you
a video
have
game.
That power? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a video game.
Curious because Because I even know some video games are like that, where you have this spell and that spell, and you don't get to actually just do whatever.
Well, this
I mean, they even did that with some of the old X-Men games.
Yeah, this is actually kind of unique the way they've set up how magic works in this world, because every Final Fantasy game of the mainline games is in a different world. There's just a few things that'll be in common, like chocobos and summoning certain entities to fight battles for you. In 16, these entities that you summon are now called icons, but you don't summon them. There are certain people who are those. They turn into
really?
like the giant dragon or the giant stone, or stone giant or whatever, or the ice woman, that you turn into it. But how things work in this is there's another frequent thing in Final Fantasy is there's crystals. Even Final Fantasy VII has materia, which is kind of like the crystals that you would find in other games. And the crystals usually have some sort of magical properties from the planet or whatever. And so there's like these towers of these crystals that usually magic comes from, and people go and mine them, and they have these crystals, and they can use it to, like, well, I'm going to use this to light the fire in my fireplace with this crystal. Phew. Well, along with that happening is you have people that they know they are called bearers. They're usually people who are born with natural ability of some sort of a magic, of some, fire maybe, or ice or whatever. They're born with it. Now, like cool. The X-Men, as you mentioned, they are hated and feared for having that extra magic. But that makes them where people are enslaving them and forcing them to use their magic to make their life easier. Unfortunately, their continued use of the magic, and it's through this something called ether, it slowly petrifies them, and it turns them to stone, and will kill them eventually when they're being forced to do the magic.
You must have mentioned that part to me before, because that sounds very familiar. I never even really played it.
I've never talked to you about this game.
No, well, never mind.
I've talked to Heather about it. But it's this very, very interesting dynamic. So you have this going where your main character is actually trying to set these people free, and they get this tattoo branded on their face to say, well, you're a slave now. You're not only a bearer, but you're a branded. And there's even at one point you come across this mother and child walks into a bar, or restaurant, or an inn, and these other two, I hear congratulations are in order. And the mother says, don't bother. I gave that child away. It turned out to be a bearer, and I handed it away to the Grand Marshal. That is not my child.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
One mother doesn't even care. It's just that,
and they used to do similar stuff to that.
The kid that came in with her starts complaining. Says, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get you another brother."
Oh wow!
It's like that is no longer my child. We give them up. That kid is automatically branded with a tattoo on their face, and they are a slave.
They used to do things similar to that. If a slave, I'm talking about back in the days of Southern and all that, they used to, if a slave tried to run away and get caught, they would brand them right in the face sometimes. Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah. So you're playing as a character who's right now trying to set them free. But the creepy thing is some of them don't want to be set free. It's like, if I run, it's just going to be worse for you. And it's like, no, we have an entire hideout.
Terrified, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of afraid.
Kind of makes sense, though.
You have that going on. You have all these different kingdoms that are all vying for power, including your character's mother, who is a horrible, horrible person. She's doing all these manipulations to gain power. And then underneath it, there's something called Ultima that is, I don't know what but this seems like the big prime villain. Don't know exactly what all this thing's up to, but it's going to be nasty when I get to the end of this. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's
unique,
confusing.
Story.
Yeah. Final Fantasy's always had good stories.
Besides the playing wrestling, which I do, and I'm waiting for for Seth to come over. We're going to play SummerSlam still, and got that all set up. But besides that, I'm also just started playing a game. I play little side games on my phone. On my phone. I started playing this thing called Stickman Archery or something like that, and it's kind of fun because I'm not the best archer or anything. But it's a lot of fun because basically it's you versus some other person who's online, and they shoot at you, you shoot at them, and go back and forth so you kill one another. And it's a lot of fun. And in fact, you can earn points or whatever, even buy points. But there's different outfits you can buy, like a Wolverine and a Deadpool if you want to. And but so far I'm just wearing glasses. Eventually I want to earn up to where you can wear like a Uncle Sam's hat. You can get different beards and things to make, because otherwise you look just like a stick man, like a black head and a black thin body, like what you used to draw on your comic books. That's what it reminded me of. That's what got my attention. I was thinking of you because that's what it looks almost identical, except it has almost like remember the Toilet Man has like his eyes, big round eyes, and that's basically what it reminded me of. I was like, hey, it reminds me of you. So I started playing it, and it's a lot of fun. I gotta admit, it's not just regular arrows. You have those, but you have arrows that can basically torches, and you can set them on fire. You have some that look like cactuses, and you and when they go out, they poke them, and it breaks into pieces and hits them. And then there's some that are it shoots and it brings the big old lasers down from above. But it can be hard because there's like pterodactyls that are in between you. You can hit them by accident, or these little robot things. So it's a lot of fun. So look that up, Stickman. Archery or whatever it is.
I wonder if it's connected. There was a game, I think it's only on PC, but it's a comedy thing. It's Harvey Stickman. And he's
That's
supposed to be
right.
He's supposed to be like a secret agent thing, and you make choices, and the choices don't make any sense, but only one of them is the right one that won't get him killed. So, but it's complete comedy, and I wonder if it might be some of the same makers.
It is humorous.
Yeah.
I'll say that it probably is. It's very funny, and what I like is you can send like little animations of you going like you can't get me, and then other things like crying like oh, and also so like whoops and stuff like that. And so it's pretty funny, and you can get a whole bunch of different types of new bows and things like that you can buy.
So I don't always like playing with other people. I don't like playing with strangers. I prefer to play with people I know.
I may be wrong, but you can, I think, probably take on the computer. But what I like is it's fun because you don't know them.
I need to be able sometimes when I'm in the middle of an online game like that, I don't feel like I can step away because if I'm doing something on my phone, I'm just passing time. And I'm like, if I'm playing something online, I need to be able to walk away and stop the game. Like, oh, if I'm playing solitaire by myself, I can stop where I'm at and I can pick it up later. But there's ways to play my solitaire game I could play versus other people. But I'm like, well, what if I start playing it, but then I have to get up and go to where I'm going?
But it's like 5 minutes tops, and then you go to another one and another one. So it's
really can happen in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is fun, man. I've lost a few, but I've won quite a few too. I'm starting to get better at my aiming. But man, when they've got those pterodactyls in the middle, I've hit so many pterodactyls. Get out of the way, you stupid pterodactyls!
They give you points for doing pterodactyls that you use those points to get some of your stuff later, maybe.
Oh, I like the fire one, and then there's a big bomb one too that I bought. I won, but eventually use those points to buy whatever. And I got the bomb thing, and you blow the dude off his feet, and he comes back, and basically you start with 60 points, and then minus 25, whatever, if you hit him, and all this stuff till finally whoever is down to zero, they lose.
You're zero. You lose. You are zero.
You lose. It's fun. It's fun because
I finally found out how to put us both on camera at the same time. Hit the right button in a way that works. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack. But I'm going to go ahead and jump us over to news so we can kind of get the show rolling.
Spanning the Disney and geek universe to bring you the best in comics, toys, movies, and entertainment. This is news from around Neverland.
Now, one thing I am missing from my news here, and I forgot to, I'll grab some labels, but Philip, I don't know if I've ever had you watch this fan film. It's the Fall of Grayskull. I don't know. It's by a guy named Daniel Benedict. He did a fan film, and it's pretty well done. I will warn you all. He is a horror movie fan, and a couple of kills that happened in this are not classic He-Man style. They're head smashing and that kind of thing. He got nasty, but he took it around. He was actually able to start a film company, Red Serial Films. He's made a horror movie called The Bloody Man, and I think some other ones. He's become an independent filmmaker. But he recently, and he's got a Kickstarter. I'll try to get the links up in the show notes. I'm going to try to get him on the show hopefully next time as well. But he is working on a sequel, Rise of the Horde. I believe that's what it's called. But it's going to be a He-Man and She-Ra, and he has declared that he's going to keep this one PG, so no exploding heads this time. But he's got I think the guy is wrestling. I want to say Matt Reeves. No, that ain't right. But he's got a wrestler to play He-Man, and I think this guy is like wrestling with. I might be wrong on this. I might be getting this really messed up, but I think this wrestler is now part of AEW. So he's actually, he's got some clout now to make these films, and he's got I don't know who this actress is he's got playing both Adora and She-Ra, but I think she's a bit of a bodybuilder herself. She's very tall and got some muscle on her. So I would think since he's got an Adam who's kind of a younger, small guy, and then you've got a big wrestler for He-Man, I would have maybe done Adora as a normal-looking person, and then have this other woman as She-Ra, just to keep it consistent. But I guess if you're trying to have Adora look like she's captain of the Horde Guard, then you get, okay, well, she needs to look like she can fight too. So he's in the process of doing that, and I didn't put a note in there, but there is a Kickstarter. I don't know how much longer he's got in there, but he needs to crowdfund so he can pay to making this movie. Although he made a full trailer, and he just scripted out a trailer, and to pay for it, he sold his Masters of the Universe Classics collection to pay for this trailer, and it's on YouTube. So definitely you can go and check out the trailer and everything, and you'll find links for the Kickstarter there as well. We are running out of time for him to complete the Kickstarter. I'm hoping he's getting it funded. He's got a lot of different packages for what you would like to receive, but of course, no money comes out unless he hits his goal. But so different packages involving posters, soundtracks, copies of the film when it's completed, that kind of thing. Very, very nifty, cool stuff. Okay, I'm probably this. You know what? This is like almost so much old news. I don't think I'm going to click this, but there was a surprise Nintendo game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Splintered Fate. It's a Ninja Turtles game that I believe it is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. They launched it a while back. Like I said, I'm really behind on news. I admit to have a little bit more on this, but yeah, that's something to look forward to. I think people have been enjoying it. It's, I want to say, looking close to the style of the early 2000 Ninja Turtle series. So it seems to be kind of like that in style of the game, but it's of course it's a great just Ninja Turtle game. I believe you can go multiple players on there. I haven't gotten to try it out yet, but I didn't know it was going to exist until suddenly this launch trailer came out. So it was kind of caught me by surprise, and I was like, hey, it's a cool Ninja Turtle game. Okay, here's one of those elephant in the room news stories that happened from San Diego Comic-Con. I'm being careful that an ad's about to load itself. But so there was a lot of people talking that they would love to see Robert Downey Jr. find a way to get back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We thought, can we get an Iron Man from an alternate universe or something? Well, we didn't get Iron Man from an alternate universe, but we seemed to have something weird because apparently he was talking in recent interviews that he was going to be open. He was open to returning to Marvel, and so everybody did assume, of course, Tony Stark. But San Diego Comic-Con, and y'all probably heard about this, he steps out as Dr. Victor Von Doom, and everybody is like, it's like we part of us, we want to be excited, like, cool, Robert Downey Jr. back, but we're also like, how does this work?
Yeah.
What in the world is going on? And now, I mean, they've pointed out with the multiverse that, the same guy, Peter Parker, can look like three different people. So Victor Von Doom could look like different people that we expect, but okay, well, why does he look like the Tony Stark? But then I guess in the new Deadpool Wolverine, this is the only mention this movie is going to get because it's an R-rated film. Apparently, you have Chris Evans show up as Johnny Storm, and that's funny. Johnny Storm looks just like Steve Rogers in another universe, so I guess they're going to make that as an excuse to, like, sometimes in a different universe, you look exactly like somebody else. And okay, so we're going with that. Now, I'm completely confident in his ability to play the character. I think it's going to be fun seeing him. It's just going to be weird seeing him have been Tony Stark, and now all of a sudden he's Victor Von Doom. I hope he at least puts on an accent. But my thought would be, if you only hint as his origin story, and you just never see his face, and you just keep him in the Doom mask the whole time, and mainly let his voice work, then, you know what, I think we can get away with it. But I don't know what the plan is.
Now, I read Fantastic Four a lot years ago. I haven't in a while because it got kind of weird, just like X-Men and others did in the early millennium, late 90s, and it kind of burnt me out. But that being said, someone said, I was reading it the other day, that at one point Tony Stark did do this whole thing where he was like Dr. Doom. I didn't read all that. I don't even know what universe that was, because, they did all these weird things.
Yeah, they get weird ideas.
In the early millennium where it was like, yeah, and I don't mind that. But the problem is that's why I kind of quit following it, because it got harder and harder for me to follow. And I was like, I don't want to have to buy, I'm not saying this is the case with this story, but I got tired of having to buy 20 different comic books just to know what was going on.
One story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, you remember when they used to do that.
Yeah. Oh, they're worse about it now, I think.
Are they really?
And there's constant events that I used to try to just collect Spider-Man, and it got so... The Spider-Verse thing got so weird and complicated. I was like, you know what? I can't keep up. There's like multiple Spider-Mans, and sometimes they're all crossing over into the same universe, and And that's why
Green
I was a little
Lantern, you ever-
skeptical about if I was going to enjoy these animated movies, but I have enjoyed them. But
Yeah, I have too.
and it's
But with
okay
Green
for a movie,
Lantern-
but trying to follow that in a comic gets to where, like, I'm sorry, can I just follow the adventures of Peter Parker, the Spider-Man I grew up reading? Please and thank you.
Yeah, well, I remember with Green Lantern, they at one point in DC, you had to buy every single comic book, not just Green Lantern, every single comic book in the doggone, 52 of them. And I'm like, that's a lot. We're talking more than $100 in a month. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
What crisis are we on now?
Yeah, which one? Yeah, And the thing is that was 52 comic books, and that was like 7 or 8 months or more long. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's too much.
Yeah, I ain't made of money.
Not only am I not made of money, that's a lot of reading.
Yeah, it is. I mean, granted, it's nice to read. Reading's a good thing. But...
Yeah, it's a good thing, but that's a lot of. I got a lot more to read than just why are we going through zombie lantern stuff?
Yeah. We do try to read the Bible once in a while, like daily.
Yeah, I try to do that all the time.
Yeah, but that takes up some time because you want to give some time to Bible study. You want to make sure you understand.
The other thing that was
was
hard about it too was it was going from this comic to that comic to this comic, and trying to keep up with the connection of which goes to where was very hard.
Yep, I understand. But of course, while we're speaking of that, that's because we did get a look, and they had a kind of a mock trailer, and they are filming right now for the Fantastic Four. We got to look at the entire cast, and I guess it is an alternate universe because it's like a kind of, I don't know, retro future would be the right thing because it looks like it's the 60s, but it's like future tech. And I don't know if this universe is going to be brought into our main universe that we're familiar with. I'm not sure how this is going to work. But this being an alternate universe, I guess this is where you can have a Doctor Doom that looks like the Tony Stark we're familiar with. So I'm curious to how this is going to get blended in. But I don't think there's any other way you could really do the Fantastic Four, but doing a weird 1960s fun vision for it,
that'll be fun.
That seems to work for me. That's perfect.
It's still not the. I'm going to get stupid here. It's still not the choice I would have chosen for Reed. However, I am looking forward to the film. Of course, I'm a fan.
You love a Fantastic Four.
Oh, I love him, and I just don't. I would have chosen him more for Doctor Doom, and I'm not talking about over Robert. I mean, over what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. I'm not saying over him necessarily, but in general, if I was just going for Victor Von Doom, I think that guy would have been really good as Victor Von Doom.
Well, he's a pretty good actor, and he does pretty good with voice. And The Mandalorian, he's really just using his voice. I mean,
he's really good at being a villain type dude. But that being said, I'm willing to give him a chance.
Yeah, I wanted John Krasinski. I kind of liked it. I was so excited in that Doctor Strange movie when he popped up. Yeah,
he's tall.
Yeah, he'd have been great.
He's tall, good looking.
He's got money and respect, and he's tall.
That's true.
And I did see some people who were trying to complain that the subtitle is First Steps. And they're like, why? Well, we got to reboot it. So, well, they can't call it Fantastic Four. We've got two movies already called Fantastic Four. They needed to put a subtitle, and this is the first steps into something, into another bit of the multiverse. It makes sense to me.
And there could very well be a second. I don't think Second Steps would be called, but they could have 4. I kept thinking that they should have 4 different films in a series of Fantastic Four, and they could do it, but no, they've never gotten to that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're building our way to the Secret Wars this time, so yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And here's our cast list. Of course, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby as Susan Storm. We got Joseph Quinn, and then Eben Moss Bachrach as Ben Grimm.
Bachrach. I mean,
yeah. Eben Moss Bachrach, which I wasn't really familiar with these other actors. Of course, Pedro. We know Pedro. And Michael Giacchino is going to be composing the score for it, which, considering what he did for The Incredibles, this score is going to be, this is going to be an awesome score.
Perfect because it's got a 60-ish, got a 60-ish sound, That's kind of fitting.
I'm excited about that, to hear what Michael Giacchino does with Fantastic Four. And the next thing, of course, San Diego Comic-Con had a little bit of surprise when Harrison Ford came out to say that he is playing good old General Thunderbolt Ross. I almost said Thunderbolt Ross. And I wonder if he motion captured for Red Hulk as well. I don't know.
I bet.
But they're saying Anthony Mackie said that this is the Captain America is more cerebral and not such a muscle bound guy because he's not Steve Rogers. And we did get I think I even got some audio of the trailer that we talked about last episode with Eric, all the different fun stuff. And we've even, like the Avengers, I think we've even got a new direction because they're not doing King the Conqueror. We're getting a Doomsday and a Secret Wars. So Doctor Doom's going to factor in very highly as a villain. And we've gotten to see in this that Giancarlo Esposito is playing a villain. And they have said what character he is from the Captain America universe. But I'm not that familiar with the Captain America universe to know who that is. And I forgot the name. I'm trying to scan through it, and I'm not finding it. Giancarlo Esposito as a mysterious villain, it says here. But yeah, we've got Shira Haas as Sabra, I don't know.
Yes.
We've got Danny Ramirez as the new Falcon. I don't remember anybody else being a Falcon. I don't know anything about that. And Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. And Philip's on his phone looking up. Looking up the Human Torch, I bet. Liv Tyler is coming back as Betty Ross, but here's the big one: Tim Blake Nelson as the leader. He finally get him to be the leader, but I wanted him to premiere fighting the Hulk in another Hulk movie, but it looks like that will never happen.
Probably not, which is stupid because it could have.
Well, not with the Universal. They didn't want to play ball.
Yeah, that's right.
Doggone you guys, Universal. Play ball like Sony.
Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things is playing Johnny Storm.
Well, there we go.
Human Torch.
The name I mentioned, which...
Yeah, he's been on several things, but I don't really watch Stranger Things, so I don't know him.
So you wouldn't know who that is in Stranger Things. I don't know who that is in Stranger Things either.
He's a long-haired, hippie-looking dude on Stranger Things, but pretty popular on there. He's been on things.
He was probably the guy that was in one season and died. But he has like this epic moment where he plays Metallica's Master of Puppets on a trailer, distracting the monsters away from the heroes.
Yeah, so
he unfortunately dies.
He's been on several other films that are coming out, one of them being the Gladiator movie coming out and a few others. So, I'm glad for him that he's got a career building up. I'm glad for him.
Now, this, of course, Hasbro had, I think, quite a few events and revealed some different new figures that they've got coming out at Comic-Con, including a crossover between G.I. Joe and Transformers that I'm sure we've all wanted. Saw that. Holy cow. And then here's something, Transformers are super, super expensive.
Yeah, they are.
But this is tempting as well. Kit.
Oh, yeah.
As a Transformer.
Awesome. I like that.
I bet it'd be over $100.
Probably.
And we've got a Studio Series Bumblebee Core Starscream. Basically a Starscream that looks exactly the way he should from back in the day. But these are small. They're like 3.5 scaled.
I like that. That's the way kind of the original ones almost were. You remember?
It reminds me a little bit of a Go. I'm trying. Well, no, 3.5. If they mean 3.5 inches, that's almost 4 inches. That's still kind of small, but that's still cool.
Yeah, the original Bumblebee was pretty small.
Yeah, Bumblebee
was. In the blue, not the blue. Hello, Philip. The red car that was just like Bumblebee.
Oh yeah.
They were smart back then. Yeah. I can't remember. That wasn't Hot Rod. Who was that?
It wasn't Hot Rod.
No, it was because he was also a Volkswagen. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he was, but either way, they were smart back then because they knew we couldn't afford Optimus on all of us. I had that because someone was nice enough and gave it to me, but I had Optimus and I had Bumblebee. Bumblebee was my favorite, always was.
It's just unfortunately the toy's legs didn't move because he was just a push down and pop up kind of thing. But it was still,
he was so cool.
And that's the other figure was that we were talking about. The red one was in the same boat.
Yeah, he was.
I want to say Sunstreaker, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, something. It was something. Like,
Sunstreaker, I think, was a Jeep, maybe.
Maybe you're right.
Remember.
I don't know. It's been too long.
Well, they also showed a lot of new toys based from The Mandalorian, The Acolyte, and Andor. A lot of new Star Wars toys that were shown off from the collection. But the main thing I wanted to get at Hasbro was like some Transformer crossover stuff, like making a kit and crossing them over with G.I. Joe. It's like perfect. Yeah. And then, of course, Mattel went through and teased that they are crossing over. Of course, this might be based off that comic. Master Universe X Thundercats line of figures debuting in 2025.
That's good.
Do we need to say any more about that? Because that's just going to be awesome.
I love the comic. The comic was great. I would say we'd make a show. Just even if it's just a mini series, that would be great, man.
Oh, if we could get a show of that, yes, sir.
Great.
Come on, awesome. Netflix. Come on, Netflix, make it happen.
We'd be happy.
And I'm just going to mention that this has happened because what in the world are they thinking? Well, of course, I guess Star Trek Lower Decks is supposed to be kind of comedy, but yes, we have Star Trek is getting its first live-action comedy. So Star Trek has become a joke. Gene Roddenberry has got to be turning over in his grave. And that's all I want to say about that.
And I'm sitting here watching Star Trek. I don't like that.
Yeah, I swear they're just insulting Star Trek fans. So
I don't mind there being.
Oh, dang it! I didn't think the sound would jump in this. I need to get past this stupid ad to be able to show what I wanted to show you all next. And I'm getting.
I don't mind there being humorous stuff like they did in the old show. There was all humorous
there was a sense of humor, but it wasn't meant to just be a comedy show. Right.
Yeah.
That's why I've not watched Lower Decks, because they're trying to make a cartoon joke.
Yeah, same here.
Of Star Trek. And making it canon. Too much of it. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. If it's just like a joke on the side, I don't mind a little bit. But if it's just straight up mocking the stuff I like. Yeah. I feel like that Paramount has just decided to murder Star Trek the way Disney is murdering Star Wars. There, I said it. I said what I said. I said what I said. All right, now I'm going to mute this for just a second, just till I get past this ad thing. And then I do want to show you all something here. So I got to switch some camera stuff around. Give me just a second. I'm going to turn this over to where we're not looking at Philip. You're going to look at this trailer. Well, it's not really a trailer because we're not in the trailer park yet. But I don't know if there's really. I'm probably going to mute the sound. I guess there's some talking. Well, you're not going to, I don't think. It's a Marvel game. Well, it takes a little while to get going here. Let me see. All
right, let's start at the beginning. You may think you know the story, but not quite.
Oh, snarkies. The time stream is flarked.
Don't worry, help is on the way. Spider Box, go!
Mere illusion.
You should have stayed away.
Trickster, feel my thunder! A futile struggle, even for gods. In the end, all will kneel before doom.
Disasters hurt the innocent the most. That's why we need heroes. No matter where they're from, or what their mission may be. When warriors cross paths, sparks fly. Coward before thought, child! Chaos leads to confusion. But those who answer the call will choose what's right. No matter how many foes they face, heroes will always rise above.
Such insignificant fools. Even from the future. Even from the past. No one rivals doom!
Ooh.
Okay, so Marvel Rivals. Hopefully you got to see that, Philip. I had to make some changes.
I did.
There we go.
See that. Most
Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drinking.
And sorry about the near ad. Speaking of an ad, after that, I'm going to take a. It didn't used to happen. I used to be able to cleanly get in and out and not have the YouTube ads play where I could share these type of things. Let me make sure that I'm sharing us in a proper fashion. There we go. If I do it like that, you look better, and I'm just a narrow. I look like an Instagram on the video. Those of you without video are missing out. But yeah, so here, let me read some of the description that IGN has on where they've got the trailer up. It said, Marvel Rivals is a superhero team-based PvP shooter that encourages you to assemble an evolving squad of Marvel heroes and villains. In this latest trailer, as the time stream entanglement engulfs the multiverse, heroes from across time unleash their full strength to combat the most dangerous supervillains they've ever encountered. This is from NetEase and Marvel Games. It's going to be released on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. There is a closed beta that was live and was running until August 5th. We've missed out on that. And Thor and Jeff the Landshark will be joining the roster as playable on July 27th. So the open beta was running there for a while. I don't know where we're at as far as this being released to the general public. I got to say, the animation style that works for the Sony animated movies doesn't work for me in a video game, so I hope it doesn't play the same way that it looks. I hope that it's a bit more smoother animation than that. I need to change the camera because Philip is off screen. Let me go and do this. There we go. And making extra noises. There we go. Okay. So I don't know about the animation style, and I am concerned about this being a shooter when we've got the recent Suicide Squad game that came out. It's like, oh, look, we'll a player versus player multiverse shooter, and we'll use it the Suicide Squad, and it didn't work out so well. And this reminds me a lot. It seems a lot of games are trying to be either like Fortnite or what is the game that Blizzard put out that I played a little bit, which if you bought the first game now, it's free when they put the second one out, and they just kind of rehashed the first game and called it 2. And I cannot think of the name of that game. I was playing it for a little while. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but yeah, it's a bit of a problem. But we'll see how this new version, the Marvel attempt at this works out. I think I've completely lost Philip on his line of things, so I think we're just going to move on to the next thing on my list, which I have. They got a little bit more of a look at the Epic Mickey. It's trying to play an ad at me again, and it's not going to let me skip it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, those of you watching the video are going to unfortunately get an ad thing thrown at you for a second as I switched back to this. There we go. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, wow. I think there we go. That's better. I need a source 2 to change. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time switching cameras. There we go. Okay. Wow, it's not letting me look away. All right, here we go. Of course, I really don't need sound on this. So I'm going to turn the volume down here on YouTube. But basically what you're going to look at is they decided to show us some gameplay for the Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed. This was part of a THQ Nordic digital showcase that was held within the last few weeks. Letting us, and there's Philip coming back. So yeah, it's this. So that we're getting a look. Basically, from the look of this, it looks like it's going to play pretty much the same as the original Epic Mickey, which is great. Only maybe a little bit easier to control than it was with the old Wiimote back in the day. I had a hard time working with the Wiimote, and so having an improvement on that one, playing it with dual sticks on a more modern console does have me excited. And as you're seeing, this looks fantastic. There we go. All right, so yeah, so that is coming up. If you pre-order, you can get an exclusive costume pack, which includes the Brave Little Tailor and a Steamboat Willie and a football outfit, which I do want to pre-order just mainly because of the Brave Little Tailor outfit, because that is like my favorite Mickey. Here we go, though.
The day so many of you have been waiting for is here. The path to the Quidditch World Cup begins now. Your careers will take you to larger and larger venues as you compete for various championships. If you're looking for even more competition as you sharpen your skills, you'll find there are many ways to compete against the best of the best. With enough hard work, talent, and practice, who knows? You may end up on the world stage competing for the most prestigious prize of all, the Quidditch World Cup. When it comes to the wider competition, you may come across some well-known faces. And yes, I know how many of you like to express yourself. All athletes are encouraged to style themselves however they desire. All right, that's enough chit-chat. Now get to your brooms and get to work!
Oh, I guess Skype doesn't have a full image up yet. I tried to switch over. There we go. Okay, so let me stop the video. It's just kind of showing the different things you're going to get for if you buy a deluxe edition of this. So this is Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. This was a gameplay trailer that this is, of course, we've had a Quidditch World Cup game, which I had for PC, which I think was back on the old PS2. It was extremely easy, though. So I'm hoping this is more of a challenge, but you get to finally create your own characters this time. And there are some playable characters. Ron Weasley, Draco Malfoy, and Harry are all playable, I guess, at some point. Ooh. This will be across all systems on September the 3rd. I can't pre-order everything.
No, I hear you, bud.
Because I want to pre-order Epic Mickey, but I'd like to pre-order this as well, but I'm trying to save it for microphones and...
Sure.
Resources are tight.
And that does look fun. I'll admit, that does look a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. I mean,
of course, I'll probably go
game.
Gryffindor. You know, I graduated from a school 30 years ago where I was a Griffin. And it's hard to believe. And same color scheme even.
And as I've taken the test through J.K. Rowling's official website, I'm a Gryffindor.
There you go.
I use that same thing on the Hogwarts Legacy, which I have some news on that as well. But Hogwarts Legacy, I was able to attach it to my account that I have through the official Harry Potter fandom. So it brought over the wand that I had selected, and it brought me over as a Gryffindor. Although I can still play the game again and have a different wand and choose a different house if I want. So I might do that at a future time, because I meant to play it at least 4 times so I could play it as each house just to see what's different. I mean, the story's going to be the same, but I could, if I play as a Slytherin, I can be as evil as I want to be. So. I do need to play Hogwarts Legacy again, and there's reasons to bring out Hogwarts Legacy again. Am I there? Let's see.
Maybe.
Yes, we are there. Let me fire this bad boy up again here.
There you go.
I'm very pleased to share with you some absolutely splendid updates and exciting new features for those looking for more ways to enhance your experience playing Hogwarts Legacy. And they're available now. We've heard that players have been looking for ways to capture moments they want to share with their friends and remember forever. To that end, there's a brand new photo mode, which will let students use various filters and other tools to show off their inner photographer. Budding wizards and witches looking for a new playstyle may now do so by resetting their talent tree points and experimenting with different magical skills and spells, opening an entirely fresh path to adventure. Not only that, but all players across every platform will now have access to the Haunted Hogsmeade shop quest. Be sure to inquire with Madam Mason in Hogsmeade for more specifics, but do be careful. In addition to all of this, there's a host of new cosmetics and brooms to get your hands on. It's amazing! This free update is being rolled out now, so get ready to capture the magic in Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, so I believe this update is already up and rolling, so I need to go and get it out and play it. Well, come on, click back over so I'm on camera. Hi! There we go.
Up in Rollins.
It's up in Rollins right now, I believe, because this was actually even 2 months ago that this was announced that they made some changes. Now, I don't care about a photo mode, but a lot of people do. And a few cosmetic changes didn't get me excited. But, oh, look, a new side mission to play, Haunted Hogsmeade. Well, then I'm getting my game back out when I'm done with Final Fantasy 16, and I'm going to go play that. And, in fact, I was talking to Heather, my wife, just the other day that I've started a thing on, by the way, the official Neverland gaming channel, where I do scare play, and I play some scary games in October and try to post some video of it. What a perfect scary thing to play for October, but Haunted Hogsmeade. So come October, I think, is when I'll pull that one out. Of course, by then, a lot of you have already played it, but, maybe you'll enjoy watching me play it, and maybe something will actually be scary in there, but I doubt it. It's a Harry Potter game. It's probably not. Well, then again...
You don't be too scary,
Giant spiders, Dementors. You got some pretty scary stuff, actually, in the Harry Potter universe. So, we could get nasty. But, ghosts are commonplace. Why would we be afraid of ghosts? I still want to make the epic crossover Ghostbusters going to Hogwarts.
I ain't as scared of those ghosts. I knew you were going to say that. I ain't
scared of no ghosts. Oh, that would even be a better crossover. Get the the Acme Ghost Hunters from Mickey Mouse, Donald, and Goofy.
That'd be great.
Have them go to Hogwarts to try to catch ghosts. Oh boy.
Aw.
That would be awesome.
Careful, Harry.
Okay. So, Dubby, by the way, if you go to NeverlandPodcast.com, that's still our website, even though we're not the Neverland Podcast anymore. But you go to a big thing that says Dubby, you click on that, you get yourself a nice discount on Dubby. Now, what is Dubby, you may say? Ask me that. Ask me, what's Dubby?
What's Dubby?
Dubby is energy drinks without the jitters. It is vitamins and nutritional things. It's a powder. You just mix it with water, but you can get your cups, your bottles, and everything right there. Lots of different flavors from Dubby.gg, and you can put in the discount code Neverland, but it'll be easier just to click on my link right there in the website. We do get a little bit of a kickback from Dubby, so yes, come and get some energy right there. And now that we've read that ad, it's time for the ads. Those of you on Patreon don't have to worry about these ads. But the rest of y'all on Red Circle, you have the option to get an exclusive feed without ads. But now I'm going to play the ads that Red Circle helps supply to me. And then after that, we'll jump to the trailer park.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Mama, another gator got in the house.
Another gator? Give me that shovel. Come here.
Get him, Mom. Get that gator.
The Neverland Trailer Park.
Now, it turns out I actually have 4 trailers because there was one I had up here.
Oh.
Oh, they're here. Be cool. Huh?
Excellent service, Lawrence. I'm giving you 5 stars.
You must be Princess Alien.
That's me!
So you're having some trouble with your parents?
Yeah, they went into the dark forest, and when they came back, they were a little different.
How different?
Well...
Ooh, wow, you ain't kidding.
Her parents are monsters.
Wow. I thought you were just being dramatic.
Why would I do that?
Because you're a teenager.
Mom!
Wow.
Monsters, ready the battalion!
Stop! This is your king and queen!
That's the king and queen? For the safety of the kingdom, they will be sent to the far reaches of the world.
But if they don't change back soon, they'll be monsters forever.
We have to get them out of here. Mom, Dad, we're going to break the spell. Come on, let's go. We're gonna make it together. Put down your weapons.
Princess?
I said drop them. What the? Ugh. Guess we gotta be a bit more specific. Bad king, bad queen. Hey!
Chew away, sire.
Dad, put him down.
Okay, now this is what you would think would be something they would try to release in the theaters, but it's coming only to Netflix. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. This trailer, this is coming from Skydance. The first front of the trailer, they wanted to lean on you. Oh, hey, this is somebody who was behind Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3. And the co-director of Shrek. They put that right up in front because they're trying to get your attention. Say, hey, remember these movies you liked? Some of the same people worked on this. Hey, and it's like that to me is not always going to be the best way to advertise a movie for me. It's like, well, just because they did these other ones doesn't mean this is going to be good. This is a whole different thing. And the part that hurts this for me, because when I first watched this, I was like, this might be fun. I'd probably sit on Netflix and watch it for free. But then, who did I see starring in it? Rachel Zegler. She has left such a bad taste in my mouth. For
Who is that?
Rachel Zegler.
I know the name. I can't think of who that is.
She's the one who's... anytime she opens her mouth, something stupid comes out of it, and something horrible comes out, and she's basically made a mockery, and she's the reason why they've went back to reshoot the live-action Snow White with her.
Oh, is she that Snow White chick?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see one of her movies, but however, I did see Javier Bardem, and I do love him. Him voicing something I would watch, but with Rachel Zegler voicing the main character, and the first thing I saw her in that West Side Story, and I thought she was good, but now she has made such a fool of herself that I'm not going to be able to get over hearing her voice, and I'm going to cringe.
Well, the good news is she's not in charge of writing it, so hopefully that it won't ruin it or anything.
But so like Robert De Niro, I don't really want to watch him anymore because I'm going to think more about the stupid things he's done than his character that he's playing.
Yeah, he's politically an idiot. However, I mean, by the way, I'm not trying to get political. I'm saying that sometimes people can't seem to let just their talent speak.
Yeah. I want to be able to see your character more than I see you, unless you just happen to be a character type like John Wayne, where he plays that type of character. So we're kind of used to seeing it as John Wayne. But if I'm seeing, like, this is why people who do, like actors who do crimes, they have a hard time keeping them in the movie. And for example, The Flash, we had, what's his name? He had done all this horrible stuff that I couldn't look at him the same way watching that Flash movie. And frankly, the only reason we went to see it because Michael Keaton is Batman again. If you do so much stupid stuff in your real life, we're going to see your stupidity when we see you on screen. We're not going to think about the character. Just the way it is.
Robert De Niro is one of the best roles that he played, or I should say role types that he plays is usually a gangster type.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that'll hurt him as much. Of course, I don't know if he's going to be playing those types, but he could because he's really good at that. And I don't mean that as an insult to him. I'm saying he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
But that's why when he was, and I'm saying this in a sense of what he said when he was yelling at people in the groups and he's walking by them in real life, he goes, "You're nothing but gangsters." And I thought, well, isn't that like a compliment? Because that's what you play.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, I think actually I've probably got that trailer accidentally in there twice. I'm going to double check.
Okay.
Oh, no, I do have some other stuff.
Oh, good.
So let's hop in here and hope it doesn't throw an ad at me. Okay, good.
Let's get that gang back together again.
All these songs are going to get me in copyright trouble.
Isn't this old man's brother's property?
I've heard stories about him. Some people think he was a spy, bank robber. I bet their bodies are buried somewhere on this property.
Oh, I love
that. That's one in.
Tracy there.
Uh-oh.
What is that?
Uh-oh.
A teenager is recovering today after nearly drowning. Hey, Ben? Something happened to Ben that I can't explain. It's like he's a zombie at Night of the Living Dead.
You okay, bud?
Oh my!
What are you,
Hey,
nuts?
guys, it's okay. I invited him.
Easy, fella.
This is Gene. He's a detective.
Retired. Well, there's more of you. I'm gonna have to dig a mass grave now.
What? Something is out there. If we sit around and do nothing, kids are gonna get hurt, including us. It came after me, man. What came after you?
There's definitely something weird going on here. Monsters.
Yeah. You guys ready?
Not us. Who? Let's do this.
The kids have this vacant look in their eyes. Lights are on, nobody's home. You are overreacting. It's just kids being kids.
Ooh, that looks good.
Gene. Hey, Gene.
No, I thought I told you.
Gene?
Okay, coming October 4th. And I'm going to switch camera over. Oh, I guess we're looking at
I'm
me now.
surprised they didn't bring out in the summertime. That looks like a
Well,
good movie.
You know why you bring out a monster movie in October?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me get a camera over looking back at you again.
It looks
Hang
like
on
a
just a second.
combination of several things at once, like Jaws.
Stranger Things with Mel Gibson is what that is.
Yeah, but it had like moments of Jaws with some Christie, with a few other things. I'm like, oh, that looks fun.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the old-fashioned fun.
Yeah, but remember what I was talking about just a bit ago about people doing stupid things that sometimes affect when people go view it? This is Pastime Pictures. Have you ever heard of this company?
Mm-mm.
Exactly. So this Mel Gibson is not getting to do the big productions like he normally would. And I mean, I still love Mel, but boy, that drunken rant and some of his drunken rants really has hurt his career, and a lot of people are going to ignore this because of it. But I like James and I saw him pop up. They're not really putting him up front. But you know, the King of Queens.
Yeah.
I like him. So having him in there, and this seems to be mainly focused on the kids, but it's basically Stranger Things with Mel Gibson, but that doesn't mean it won't be fun.
Oh, it looks like a lot of fun.
Because Stranger Things is fun.
I love that they're playing baseball, and that kid from...
the catcher from The Sandlot shows up as the umpire.
He stands out, man. He still looks the same, except
yes,
older.
He does.
He's
so
awesome.
There's a lot of good stuff going with this, and I think I would probably still check this out because Mel Gibson. I think we've had enough time. I think he's in some ways tried to redeem himself a little bit from his drunken rants and some of the stupid things he said.
Yeah, he's done pretty good since then.
Because it is possible to come back from stuff, right?
A lot of the problem that we've had since then is a lot of the woke nonsense, but I think he's gotten away from most of that, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get himself back on track, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just noticed, he's doing an independent small film, really. I mean, this looks like he's probably going to have some effects in there, compared to when he would probably do his starring thing with, say, Universal, 20th Century Fox, or a big studio. It seems like he's had to go to a smaller thing, but I'm hoping, you know what, if he wants to redeem himself, I hope this is a good, fun family movie that people enjoy and gets people to remember that they have enjoyed Mel Gibson in a lot of things, and maybe forgive him for his past mistakes, maybe. Because you eventually can't get past stuff.
He's done quite a few since then, but most of them are smaller because a lot of times he does his own, which is smart, really.
And he kind of has to at this point because a lot of people don't want to work with him anymore. Well, heck, there's people who went against him mainly because, the Passion of the Christ. They're like, you're doing a Jesus movie, and sometimes they turn on you for that. But kind of having a slightly anti-Semitic drunken rant there didn't help him.
The other thing is and we'll go right back to this, a lot of times it goes to religious and political stuff where you're like, just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to work with them.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Anyway,
I hope he managed to make some comeback, because Mel Gibson has made some great films in the past, and I hope De Niro can make some comeback. Rachel Ziegler didn't build enough clout for herself before she started ruining her career, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So I don't know that she's going to, in a lot of people's opinions, that she's going to come back from that, because people are really not interested in that Snow White movie anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame, too, because I love Snow White.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that because, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't want to become a rage-baiting type of show. But we know that, Okay, moving to the next movie on our list. This, of course, is going to be epic. Let me make sure it's not going to have an ad in front of it before I let it play. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that button. I'm going to switch cameras. For those of you who are enjoying the benefit of watching video, we'll get a chance to see the of course, you probably already watched this trailer. But here we go. I'm going to show it to you anyway and say, I'm not going to say it 3 times. I'm only going to say it twice because I don't want him to show up. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
When you're all driving carpool and banging your Pilates instructors to fill the empty voids in your life, we'll see who gets the last laugh.
My mom grew up here, that old house on the hill.
Wait, the ghost house? Is your mom Lydia Dietz?
Unfortunately.
She's a legend.
The living, the dead. Can they coexist?
Now's my chance.
Ghosts aren't real. Only gullible people believe that kind of crap.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I need you to help me save my daughter. But how do I know that you're going to keep your word?
I swear on my dead mother's soul. Bob, you and the boys stand guard. Nobody gets through. Let's go, honey. Recognize this post. Never seen that shit before in my life. Or afterlife.
Are we doing this?
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I'm needed upstairs. Bob, hold down the fort. Spill your guts. Who wants to go first? All right, I will. See, I'm willing to do the work.
Where the afterlife is so random.
You're that thing from my dream. Really more nightmare material.
Confronting the unknown, conquering your fears. There's nothing harder.
What the f? Thank you all for coming to this special occasion, but right now with like a little privacy.
September 6th. And once again, though, mentioning how you can completely ruin your career by doing something bad. The father, of course, is dead because that actor did something bad, very illegal. And so now, of course, they're not bringing him back and they just killed his character off.
I wasn't aware.
I feel like we've got a theme going on here.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. I can't. I think it involved. Yeah, I don't. Well, it's his family show. I'm not going to say what he did, but it was horrible. Which is unfortunate because he had a lot of great roles from Ferris Bueller to the first Beetlejuice. But because of that, it's like, well, we can't bring him back. So don't do horrible things, and because you ruin your career and you don't get to come back for what looks to be a lot of fun with this.
I'm sure you're talking about the role of Howard the Duck in Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good in that too, being a weird thing that he was in Howard the Duck. Yeah. So I cannot think of the actor's name, but that's okay. We're not going to mention him here. I
can't think of him right now.
I cannot think of it. But anyways, I don't want to. We're going to move on talking about this movie, so I don't want to dwell on that too far. But this, I find this kind of fun. I'm kind of. It looks like Lydia might have become some sort of online famous person, maybe, with her ability, because I like that they've taken her ability to see ghosts and like, well, here's where that would have progressed her, and to have her daughter not believe a bit of it.
Kind of like the Whoopi Goldberg character of Ghost itself. It's
right.
Like, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so have her like, oh, it turns out she's a medium. Like that kind of makes sense. Yeah. And getting to have somebody else as a villain, like Monica Bellucci from the Matrix films. her in there with, somebody, because as the older she gets, she's still a very beautiful woman, but putting a weird scar thing across her head and having staples in there to try to uglify her, it kind of almost works. But she's still a very beautiful lady.
Yeah.
So, but we got a lot of different people added in there. It's nice having Catherine O'Hara back again because she cracks me up. She is funny.
Yeah.
So everything about this just looks like ridiculous fun, and I still laugh every time watching this trailer where Beetlejuice is like, well, I swear on my dead mother's grave, and he crosses himself, and it catches fire.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because you really trust him even no matter what he does.
When I was a kid, I used to watch, because I loved the movie, and I used to watch that cartoon all the time.
I couldn't get into the cartoon because it didn't make sense to me why him and Lydia were getting along.
It didn't make any sense, but it was like the closest thing we had to a sequel at the time. So therefore, I watched it all the time. Plus, I loved the style of it. I'm pretty sure it was Deke, but I loved the style of it because it was sort of they had a way of making it kind of like a caricature meets Saturday Morning, literally in that sense. And it didn't look like them, but yet it kind of did, and I loved it. And it was the same with Lydia there. It didn't look like her, and yet you knew it was her.
Yeah.
And I love when they used to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
even
just
with the
weird.
parents even.
It's like they threw out what happened in the movie altogether,
Yeah,
just
pretty
like
much.
and reinvented the concept of Beetlejuice and Lydia and made them friends.
You didn't have Gina Davis, and you didn't have Alec Baldwin, and you didn't have anything like that. But you definitely had where she basically found him, and she'd say Beetlejuice 3 times every Saturday, and he'd come back, and they'd Liddy, and they'd suddenly go, because his voice was a lot more high pitched, but they would go into the cartoon world of death, and there would be like a little spider who's always tap dancing and stuff like that. And you had a lot of that fun. It's more, of course, it was a lot more kid friendly.
Yeah,
a lot more kid friendly.
Yeah, you can't drop an F-bomb in there.
No.
Yeah,
no,
it is a nice model.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah. And but like I said, I couldn't get into this because I loved the movie, and I tried to watch the cartoon, and it was just too disconnected and just didn't make any sense to me. So I ended up watching something else, and I missed out.
I got some of the episodes. If you ever want to watch them, it's like if you just take it for what it is, which is like basically the basis of the story from the movie, but not anywhere following it.
The characters are there from the movie, but not the story.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You don't have Alec Baldwin, but you do. You do have it. Like basically, she has a friend from the other side. That's it.
Yeah, and I wonder how this is going to work out without Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin apparently being in there, unless they're going to have a cameo. But maybe they've passed on. I can't remember. Like in the first movie, established there's a certain amount of time that you're stuck to haunt. Because they can't leave that house. They're not supposed to be able to leave that house. So I'm like, okay, well, if they're not there, there needs to be a reason.
Oh, I'm sure they could find any reason.
I'm gonna have to rewatch Beetlejuice. Maybe that'll be some of the movies when we start doing the talking over the movies. We have to watch Beetlejuice before this new one comes out, maybe, so we can. Because I remember there's a certain amount of time that they have to haunt their house before they're allowed to just cross out. So I'm sure they've got a plan. We'll have to see what the deal is with that. Okay, I've switched back. Oops, I switched. Oh, I keep clicking the wrong things. Those of you watching the video are getting a quite entertaining thing of me clicking the wrong thing in a constant manner here. There we go. And those of you getting the audio, hopefully I'm editing all this garbage out of me messing up. So, all right, we got, I think got one last one, don't I? Yes, I do. This I just pulled another today. I don't know how excited I am about this, but I want to share it with you all anyway.
Hi.
Oh, look, an ad. Hi, Ryan Reynolds. Go away. I'm going to mute Ryan Reynolds, and I'm going to skip his ad. But this is a documentary about Alex Ross.
Oh, I love him.
Now, this might be a slightly different comic series than what I remember collecting something. I think it might have been The Kingdom Come, but I know I've got like some sort of comic series that he was doing. I don't know, but it might be about talking about the series that I have. I think I have it. But I'm not sure.
I have the action figure of that Superman.
Okay, well, but let's look at this trailer.
There fell a great star from heaven, and I beheld and heard an angel.
I remember when The Dark Knight Returns came out. I remember when Watchmen came out. So of course I remember when Kingdom Come came out.
Kingdom Come is 4 separate issues, 48 pages apiece. It was an all-immersive kind of lifestyle for me.
It blew people away. I mean, this was the most sought-after book there was.
This was something very new, very different.
No one had seen anything like that at that scale before.
It was amazing.
I never thought from anything that people would still be talking about this book 25 years later.
There were voices and lightnings and thunderings. This was my dream.
What makes Alex Ross art stand out from the others is his approach to realism.
You think of a Superman, you're thinking of the Alex Ross Superman.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings that we were told these were the masters. Alex was taking some of those techniques and applying them to superheroes.
1938, DC released the first issue of Action Comics, the magazine that introduced Superman.
It gives you motion, it gives you expression, all on like a little magazine that you can afford.
Comic art would abstract the human form in a way that was very inspiring to me as a young person and something I would imitate for my whole life.
Wish fulfillment. This is power fantasy. If I just had the abilities to do these things and make the world a better place, I could do it.
He makes them look like real live superheroes. They look like Olympian gods.
You gotta have the balance of the eyes perfect.
Let me tell you the story of Kingdom Come, page for page, panel for panel.
Was such a huge, epic story.
The DC fans, when he did their favorite characters, and then they came back to save the world one more time, just minds blown.
I see a shot that is, I know, since it was like a pencil layout through final rendering, and then I see it on a bus ad or a poster or a shot setup, I'm going like,
oh, totally. You totally see Alex's influence.
The way material folds the shadows, the angst of the character, the history of the character. I mean, he's like Stellar Adler. He's the master class of how you approach comics. This is a true art form.
It would weigh on us the way it would be perceived, but I always had this sense of like, oh, I'm making a legend right now.
And I think all the dialogue is done on this thing, and it's just going to be like music, so I'm going to knock it back here, and I'm going to switch camera back to... There's Philip again. I remember the one that I have isn't Kingdom Come. I have Justice, where Alex Ross did all of that one. Yeah. So Kingdom Come, I haven't gotten to read at all. I know nothing of it.
That came a couple years later. It was like 1990. I want to say 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I remember having it, and it was like I want to say 1996 or a little after. And we, my brother-in-law and I, were reading it. But I have some. If you ever want to read it, I have it.
Yeah, I bet you could buy the hardcover of the whole thing somewhere.
Yeah,
too.
I do. I believe I have it. Because I know I had the one that wasn't, but I believe I have it now, all in hardcover. But it's really good. And like I said, I have the figure of Superman that way.
Of course, because you got to have every Superman out there.
Well, I don't, but I would like to. Believe me, because you know me.
Yeah, but I know you.
It's very interesting as what there's even some now. Look, I'm a pastor. I don't want to go overboard with this, but in that issue or the story, Superman is old.
Yeah,
and he has a gray in his hair, and he has a beard in the beginning as Clark. When Wonder Woman comes to him, and he's carrying these 2 boards, and he's got 3 nails in his overalls. And I didn't quite realize it at first, but Alex Ross said that was his symbolism. And it says some people try to compare him to Christ. And it's not that he's saying he's Christ, but that was his kind of throwing back to it. He's carrying 2 big boards like a cross. Not that they are a cross, but he's got 3 nails that is a reference to the whole Christ type thing. Huh. And but but he does it in such a slick way that you don't see that he's carrying a cross.
Well,
that was
there was quotes from smart. Revelation there at the beginning of this trailer that I was kind of like, why are we doing that? I don't know.
Yeah, because in the story, there's symbolism here and there that he throws in. And I thought that was very smooth. The way he did it was very smooth.
Smooth like butter. So, yeah, I think I have to borrow and read that before maybe that documentary comes. I didn't see, let me see here. Oh, I already wiped it off the screen. That documentary, I don't think it's going to be in theaters. I think it is going to be a streaming thing. It'll probably be on the Max channel since
I imagine
since the Warner Brothers Connected type of thing. So
one of the things I love too, and I have the toy from that because I wanted it. That Shazam.
Yeah, that's a
Captain
cool looking
Marvel.
Shazam.
The
Yeah.
reason why I loved it the most was originally Shazam was based off Fred McMurray, and that when he painted that, he made sure it looked like Fred McMurray, except big and stout. But when he was young in the 1950s, and so the figure looks like his paintings, and the paintings look like Fred McMurray when he was very young. And if anyone, I'm sure you know, but Fred McMurray was the father from My Three Sons.
He invented Flubber.
And Flubber and Shazam. I mean, not Shazam. I meant to say the Shaggy Dog.
Right. I never did see the Shaggy Dog.
Oh, really? Yeah. And he was also on, what was the name of that? There was another thing he had done. Oh, I know what it was. He was the one who was in charge of, with Kurt Russell when he was young.
The Follow Me Boys?
Follow Me Boys, yeah.
I saw half of that, and I think I fell asleep when I was trying to watch it.
Yeah, it's a cute show, and he was in charge of that.
It wasn't as funny as I expected.
Yeah, it's got a little more seriousness to it, but it's still fun.
It's more serious than you expect because he's kind of becoming a father figure for all these boys that really need it. So you're kind of like, ooh, this has got some heart to it.
Because it's a true story. It
really?
ends up being.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's about how the guy started up this thing for young boys and all, but yeah, it's a
almost like the origin of the Boy Scouts, didn't it?
Pretty much in a sense, and it's a good show. And Fred McMurray always had kind of a lot of heart. He was a kind of a ladies' man back in the day. I'm not talking about him personally, but he would play these roles where because he was so handsome.
Yeah, and he was tall.
Yeah, good looking.
Good looking.
I love his
respect.
I loved his wavy hair. So a lot of times think of him too when I would go to create a man who would have kind of like squinty eyes. I'd think of him too because he just had such an interesting look. He'd have this kind of a crease in the middle of his eyes going upward, So a lot of times I think of him too. I thought he just had such a unique look.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so that's coming up pretty quick, but I guess we'll go ahead and turn a corner into a... Well, all right, I'm going to hit the button because I labeled it a movie review, but it wasn't.
Want to see a movie?
We'll just hit the button anyway.
Good? It was bad?
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
I like it a lot. The best movie ever made.
A Fandom Nexus movie review.
Okay, so this isn't a movie. It is on Netflix. It was Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 1. Because we are going to get another part and then eventually a movie.
Yes.
And I will say, overall, I did like this, but I didn't like it as much as I did previous seasons. This felt a little forced, like, the season 5 really wrapped up a lot of the story, and we could have stopped there, and I would have been perfectly happy with that. Because this felt like they took, it was such a slow pace to get to some story that let's go ahead and just take an episode that we didn't quite get to resolve these two characters having their issues. So let's just draw that out into an episode and we'll slowly go somewhere. And it's like, okay, I want to know what the overarching story was going to be other than they keep talking about, okay, well, we have this other, I forgot the name of it, the big tournament that's coming, which for some reason my brain keeps thinking of the first Mortal Kombat movie, that it's going to be like that. So I'm keep thinking they're all going to Mortal Kombat where the greatest fighters in all the world are coming together. So, but it just seemed like it was kind of dragging its feet. Like, they could have done the entire season in these few episodes instead of, we're going to do 2 parts to the season. It just drug its feet. Didn't seem like it was getting anywhere. And we even had some story elements that happen. And I don't necessarily want to spoil something, but something happens with one of the kids, and it's an embarrassing thing, and he's blaming the wrong kid, and then it's dropped. We never hear about it again. It's like, no, I would expect something to happen considering the history between these two characters, that it's not going to be, well, maybe part 2, this is finally going to come around. But
I imagine
it had little bits of storyline that I felt like it could have wrapped up in these episodes, but it got stretched out there. And I never get to be a fan of when we drag out where for no good reason we take a mentor and we ruin their reputation.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
I was watching these things. I roll my eyes more than on all of the seasons. I roll my eyes a lot. But I also have to remember it's not really for me. It's for preteens. It's for the drama is mostly for kids. And I think, first of all, I love the first movie, and I like the other ones too, but especially the second one. But the first one to me is the best. The other ones are okay, and I like this show, but it's overboard, and it's supposed to be in a sense. But the drama over it's a bit much. But sometimes they go overboard on some of the stuff, like even the way it ended on this. So it was kind of like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is, and I expect it.
It's like one step forward, 2 steps back by the end.
Yeah, it's almost always that way. It's like eyes are rolling, but it is mostly for, let's say, 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds.
It's for people who watch the CW and enjoy the dramedy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And now this is coming from a man who, and I like it still because it helped me at a time when I kind of need something to watch to help me through some emotional stuff. However, I watched a lot of drama, stupid crap, stupid nonsense at a time, and I'm talking about One Tree Phil.
One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill, and I call it One Tree Phil because it was drama and it was overboard. It was silly, but I enjoyed it too. And that goes with Smallville and stuff too. It was overboard, but that's what it's basically a teenage soap opera.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, but there's still a lot of fun in it too.
Yeah,
I did like how that one character who I can't think of his name right now for some reason, but he made his mohawk into an American flag. That was fun.
He's a pretty cool character anyway.
Yeah, especially when he started off as kind of I won't say loser, but they tried to make you think he was.
Yeah,
and he's been probably the most fun of all the characters, or at least one of them.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it.
And we've had, of course, the drama where friendships get tested, and
yes,
I did at least appreciate, but it felt a little drawn out. But it made for some fun where Johnny was trying to get Tori and Daniel's daughter Sam.
That was fun.
Try to work through because they still clearly had some issues. Like we can see they're almost kind of friends, but something seems to be there. Like they were distant. But getting them to work out their issues finally, which okay, well that I guess that felt a bit necessary. Like, okay, we have some issues that need to kind of maybe get worked out between the characters, but I feel like we could have gotten a lot of this taken care of in the first episode, so we could move on past all that, right? But yeah, I guess they wanted to drag it out for the teen drama stuff, and so the drama.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I also enjoyed seeing some of the other characters that we didn't see much in the movies, and we're seeing them come back in and all that kind of stuff, and seeing how they had trouble, because of what Danny and them did, beating them up or whatever.
Yeah.
I say beating them up, but like defeating them. And they're like, I'm suffering even now from all that. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't want them to ruin characters that we had. Like, hey, this character's become a potential friend. I don't want to see them wreck that just for the sake of drama. I liked having Mike Barnes actually, become a decent fella.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand having his furniture store burned down, but insurance should be taking care of that. So I had a problem with that. He should actually be fine and not mad. I also have a bit of a problem when you have a fugitive, even though he faked his death, he's still a fugitive. How the heck is he getting on a plane and getting anywhere?
Yeah.
So they didn't think everything out. I feel like it was so forced. They just wanted this to happen for story that they, that they really didn't need. It seems unnecessary to even make this season at this point. It feels so forced, like they're trying to just make things work. But if you stop and think about it, you're like, what? How?
We'll see how it ends. And my question is going to be when they go to the movie. We already know Jackie Chan's going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
My question is this going to be a completely different character that Jackie Chan played?
He's his character from the rebooted movie. Which makes me wonder if Will Smith's kid's going to show up.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask is because that'd be kind of neat if they did, because I feel kind of
that movie was not good.
No, I couldn't watch it all. I tried. God knows I tried twice. Actually, I tried. First time I fell asleep. Second time I stayed awake a little bit longer. But honestly, I was babysitting too, and they really loved it. The kids, at the time, because it was still kind of new. But I just couldn't get anything out of it. It's so anyway. So hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll try to watch it again sometime, maybe. Who knows?
But
because I like Jackie Chan.
I'll still watch part 2, and I'll still see the movie. But I hope the second part is better than this, because I still liked it, but I didn't like it as much as previous seasons. And like I said, it felt kind of like they could have stopped. And we had a good time watching season 5. We were watching it because it released like December 31st or something. And we binged it all the way up to New Year's, and we're still watching it after midnight a little bit that time though too. But
now granted, I will say there's been times that in seasons, in mid seasons, like when I'm watching all day long or whatever, in mid seasons I'm thinking, oh man, I hate where it's going or whatever. and then it changes by the end.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it right there.
Yeah.
Is that it ends at a time where it's going to get better. You know how they do.
Right.
They're up and down hill, and we're going down a hill instead of up it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're in that valley part of the story where,
Yes.
in the second part, they got to resolve all this stuff. But it felt like there was too many episodes that they could have set up what the story is going to be a lot quicker than they did. It felt like it was dragging its feet to get to this point.
Yeah.
So, and then to get to, we're now at the tournament. I was like, I thought the tournament was maybe going to be at the end of this, but I don't know. I don't know where they go after the tournament. I don't know how long the tournament's supposed to go on, for how many episodes. I don't know. We'll see.
And there's also so many kids who didn't get to get involved where you're like, wow. But that's okay. We'll see, because there may be something surprise. You never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
We'll just have to see what happens, as they all go to compete in Mortal Kombat. I mean, the Tensai Karai or whatever the heck it was.
Senkai Sarai.
Whatever it was.
No idea.
Yeah. They're going to Mortal Kombat.
And there's also, I will admit, the big surprise at the end of that season. I was like, yeah, they couldn't do that. You could not do that. Suddenly bring one of their, you just couldn't do that. It wouldn't happen. It's not feasible.
It's forced again, just for the sake of trying to have a drama and trying to have a story so they can have another season. They forced it.
Because that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's not even feasible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
But I'll still look forward to it.
I'll still be watching the next season. I'll probably still binge it. So, but July featured a lot of celebrity death, and I meant to be able to pay tribute to everybody. I feel like we're a little late to the game, but you know what? Let's go ahead and pay some tribute to these people after all. And the first one I have on my list, and I think I try to go and find them all that they're in like dated order when I was doing it, like how many people passed away. And when I say this name maybe doesn't click right away. Joe Bonsall. American Hall of Fame singer for the Oak Ridge Boys. Now those of us, the generation this show's kind of aimed at, I guess, that are more closer to our age, are going to be like, the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah.
I remember seeing these guys at Worlds of Fun, I think
good.
more than once. They were just a great, back when country was country.
The harmonies were amazing.
Yeah. They weren't considered a boy band. They were just a country group.
Oh, that was man.
I remember the bassist of that group, though. He would always show just how low he could go, and he hit his lowest note, and through them big old speakers at Worlds of Fun's the amphitheater, it vibrated everything.
Yes, he was
My
amazing.
goodness. So, but John Bonsall was kind of like the main tenor, singing the songs like Elvira, stuff like that. Yeah, but that wasn't John Bonsall. Bapa Mama was that bass with his incredibly deep voice.
But still.
Yeah, but that's the songs like a lot. Just that's the main song I think everybody's going to know is of course Elvira, but a lot of just great old tunes. And we had a little bit of fun. YouTube is good at opening up a rabbit hole for you. And let you jump right in, because I just saw an Oak Ridge Boys kind of thing. It's like, I feel like watching a little bit of something, and I watched a bunch of guest appearances where the Oak Ridge Boys were popping up on different shows, and even as they were getting older, it was just fun and nice to watch.
I used to see him once in a great while on Johnny Carson and a few other things, and they used to show up
them
if
in
I'm not
Alabama.
mistaken. Oh yes, didn't they show up on Hee Haw?
Yes, everybody was on Hee Haw.
Oh man,
I mean, come on, man, it was Hee Haw.
I was watching an episode of that, just a little bit of it, a couple days ago. That was a good old show.
Yep.
Fun. Very fun. Very lighthearted.
All right. Next one to pass away, Shelley Duvall passing away at 75 from complications from diabetes.
Oh, I loved her.
And you know what's fun is like they apparently gave her PTSD the way she was very badly treated in Shining, because they wanted her to seem all disturbed, so they messed with her so much. But getting to see all the stuff, other than playing Olive Oil, which she's annoying as heck as Olive Oil, but that's perfect for that character.
She was perfect,
she nailed it. But what I want to also appreciate her for is she did a lot of like fairy tale theater. She brought stories to kids.
She was a very loving woman.
Yeah.
She really was.
She seemed super sweet and nice.
Her eyes, to me, always spoke volumes. That's why I loved her as Olive Oil, because it wasn't, first of all, the brown eyes. I can't imagine anyone with blue eyes playing Olive Oil. And she was just perfect as that character. To me, there's no one else who could play her, really.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else playing her.
Yeah.
But she was great in The Shining, but I loved her doing those. I think it was HBO, wasn't it?
Yeah, HBO was carrying a lot of them. Shelley Duvall's fairy tale theater, man. Oh, yeah.
And she did a lot of them where she would sometimes be kind of like a, I guess you could say fairy godmother,
Yeah.
but she was more or less.
She was the host, but she'd play a character in there. I think she played Rapunzel.
She did. Yeah, she did, and she would have a lot of guest stars on there. I love when Martin Short played Johnny Appleseed.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, that's a good one, Johnny Appleseed and
Pee Wee Herman though playing Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yep.
And when Johnny Appleseed,
Paul Rubens, I should say.
Molly Ringwald played the girl that he loved, and Rob Reiner was on there as the bully, and you had so many stars. Michael, from Spinal Tap, Michael. Can't think of his name right now. Anyway, they had so many people who just show up on one of them, let alone tons. She was great.
Yeah.
Oh, she was also on them.
Brought a lot of stories to us for, and I want to appreciate that.
She was also on what was it called? The Commando one with Hulk Hogan.
Suburban Commando. Yeah,
Suburban
she was
Commando,
the mother.
Yeah, she was great. Loved her.
After The Shining, she did a lot of stuff that she wanted families to be able to watch together. I swear that must have been her goal.
She was
just
a sweet lady.
wanted to bring us good entertainment, and that's what I'm going to remember her for. I mean, other than of course olive oil, because she was perfect for olive oil because she made olive oil as annoying as olive oil really is. And olive oil is one of those characters like, why are these two guys fighting over again? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she was olive oil I'm talking about was taken off of an actual actress back then, and she looked similar to her. And I can't think of her name right now. Someone's yelling her name probably to me, but I can't think of it right now. But I'll think of it some other time. But anyway, she was.
Nobody else could have played that character.
No, she was amazing. She was so amazing. He needs me.
Fooey. Fooey.
Yes.
Yep.
Fooey. I said fooey, and I meant
fooey. Yep.
She was so perfect because she was like half kiss him, half not kiss. She was so perfect.
She was so much in his face.
Yeah, I
love. Okay, well, we could talk forever on that movie, but I love his kind of perspective that he almost, when he's looking at her, she's fooeying at him, and he's like, she said fooey to me. Yeah, and it's almost like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, they were so perfect in that role. All of them were. It was great.
Richard Simmons, 76, American fitness personality. Didn't say what he died of. I think he had cancer though, didn't he?
I don't
think
recall. So. I really love Richard
Icon
Simmons.
of the 80s. That's what he was.
Yes, I really loved him. He was one of the most loving, caring, compassionate people. He had his own show at one time.
Too. Yeah, he
very
had
positive
weekday show. We'd watch him doing workout.
One time I teased about him because he had his personality, and I won't go further in that except to say that I found out a lady I started working with right out of high school. I started working at a daycare center, and this woman considered me to be a lot like her son because her son had committed suicide, sadly, and he and I were built a lot alike. And when she met me, she said, "You remind me of my son," and she started calling me by her son's name sometimes. Goodness. And I would just go with that because she needed it, and I was okay with it. Well, I found out, and I was teasing about Richard Simmons being how he is, and she said, "I always loved Richard Simmons," and she told me a story about how after her son had done that, her friend was part of the Richard Simmons diet, and how she sent a letter back when people sent letters to Richard Simmons, and Richard Simmons, it reached his heart because he has such a huge heart.
Yeah, he did.
That he called my friend and spent nearly 2 hours on the phone with her talking about what a wonderful mama, because she was saying that maybe it's her fault, and he said, no, you're a wonderful mother and a wonderful woman, and there's still a reason for you on this earth. And you think about that, a famous man like that spent nearly 2 hours, and it changed my perspective of Richard Simmons, and I loved him because of that. Just love him.
Yeah, he did a lot of good things in his life, and I appreciate him.
Yes, he did. I'll never forget it.
Next, this one's was breast cancer. Only 53 years old. Shannon Doherty.
Wow.
Now, honestly, I didn't really watch anything with her in it, other than I did see Mallrats. I think she's in that one.
Yeah.
But like Beverly Hills 90210, Charmed, and Heathers, didn't watch any of that.
I watched a couple of, of course, Beverly Hills with my sister and all that, and was never deep into Charmed. I watched Heathers just a few days back, like part of it, someone watching it, and things like that. I was never a huge fan of hers, but I always respected her, and especially her fighting cancer.
Yeah.
And she beat part of it once, and I always want good on people, always, and I'm so sad she's gone. That's sad.
Cancer kind of reminds me, it makes me think of the part in Lord of the Rings where Gandalf you shall not pass, and the Balrog drops, and he's thinking, I've beat it, and I'm going to go on about my business, and then that whip comes around and yanks him down.
Yeah.
That's cancer. You think you've got it beaten. Sometimes it just comes back. It's so nasty.
To me, it's like, as long as you do your best, you have won.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to say, even if you do not survive in this world, you have won, because it's the attitude to keep on going and not to give up. It's because we all have cancer cells, and you may not win, but if you have the attitude of winning, you've done the best that you possibly can. And that's all you sometimes can do. And I'm proud of people who go on fighting and do the best they can. That's all you can do. And I'm proud of her for trying her best. That's the best you can do.
And you know what? And I'm going to, because we can talk things from a Christian perspective now in this show.
Yes.
There's a song by, unfortunately, the band kind of went bad. It's We As Human. We As Human is the name of the band. And they had a song that was about, and I can't remember if it was his nephew or whatever, who struggled with some form of a cancer. And this little boy, everybody, of course, because he's dying and he's losing his battle with cancer. And he says, no, I'm winning, because if
Amen.
I die, I'm with Jesus.
It's exactly
I win.
what Paul said.
The cancer can't win. I'm going to win. If I die, I win. It can take this body. I won't be there anymore. I'm like, this was a little kid who said this, and that they wrote an entire song about it. And it's like, oh my gosh, this kid understood. That is the faith like a child that Jesus spoke of.
That's exactly what Paul was saying, that whenever he prayed for the thorn of his flesh to be removed, he basically said that, so I am proud basically to have this thorn, because what more can be done to me? That he knows that the worst case scenario, I'll go on proudly with this thorn.
Yeah.
And it's not because we want to be ill, because I'm ill all the time, but it's okay, because I know that God is with me, and I'll be okay no matter what occurs, and I'm going to be all right. And I don't know where Shannon Doherty is. I do pray and hope that she knows the Lord, because I love her.
Well,
even if I don't know her, I love her, and I love all people, even if I don't know them or like them. I love them, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Die is gain. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And now one last one, and this is the one that hurt. Boy.
Well, me too. I love him.
Bob Newhart, 94, American comedian and actor. And I think mainly it's just old age. Mainly known for that, like the Bob Newhart show and the Newhart, and then a lot of people loved him from Elf, and he was the best thing about that movie. Really,
he also had a TV show that didn't last very long, but I liked it, called Bob, and that came in the 1990s. And from Bob, he played a comic book artist.
I might have watched that.
Yeah, and the name of the comic book was called Wildcat or whatever it was. I can't think of it right now, but I actually have that comic book still. I bought it in the 90s, and because they made a comic book about that comic book.
Oh, fun.
And, I have it, and I loved it. And sadly, it didn't do as well, but I really loved it. I loved all of his shows. I think I loved Newhart the best.
Yeah, I didn't really see the one until he was running the hotel. I didn't see his original. I think Newhart was the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was. The Bob Newhart show is really good too, because it came at a time, just like a year or so after All in the Family. All in the Family changed the way things were on TV, and from that you got stuff like the Bob Newhart show, and you got things like those kind of shows really changed the way things were on TV. Mary Tyler Moore show, things like that, and those were a completely different kind of show than what they'd ever had before, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it. Of course, I always think of polyester.
Yeah,
he'd walk in there wearing a brown suit and in like plaid pants. I loved it though. He was a psychiatrist.
I forgot his name. Mine is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
Yeah, that was for Newhart, and that was a great show. It really was.
And the nice thing about Bob Newhart is his style of comedy, where he was so soft spoken, but yet had that great dry humor.
Yes,
that's what I think made him work.
In fact, you can't see it right now, but on my screen, I got a picture of my dad. And my dad and Bob Newhart looked very similar. And so, as strangely as it may sound, having Newhart around reminded me of my dad. And it seemed like my father was still around just a little bit, knowing that he was around. And so it hit me a little harder in a stranger way, because my dad and I loved Bob Newhart together. Yep. And my dad would say, son, you need to get up now. And it reminded me of Bob Newhart. When
Totally.
Because he was trying to be kind and try not to get on me too much. He said, son, you need to go ahead and get up. He started getting a little more serious, and before long, he's like, I said, come on.
Yeah, and that's very Bob Newhart. That's very Bob Newhart. He just had that kind of like laid back demeanor, and even was
Yeah.
great when he popped on Big Bang Theory
He
as
was amazing.
Professor Utonium, I think it was.
And he even did a Yoda thing once in that.
Yes,
role.
it was so much fun when he popped up after he had passed away, and then Sheldon had that dream and stuff. So
and plus,
he's just
I
a
loved
legend.
him. I loved him on the Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under.
Yes.
He was amazing. I thought he was a perfect animated voice because he was a character all his own.
Yeah. Oh my
I
goodness.
can't think of anything he did that I didn't love. Honestly, I just can't.
Truly. Yeah, the guy was a legend. Totally was a legend.
I literally cried when I found it. I mean, look, I knew he was in his 90s. I knew he was going to go.
Yep.
That stuff happens. But when I feel like I know them, I know I don't. They don't know me from Adam.
But they've meant something to us. They're fictional characters and all the work that
Yes.
they've done. I want to get some of his comedy albums. I want to hear some of his old comedy. And
He was really
I
good.
wanted to be able to watch Newhart, but you can't buy it you have to buy it. You can't just watch it. It's not streaming anywhere. You have to purchase it somewhere. And I'm like, well, I ain't got money for that right now.
What, you talking about the show Newhart?
Yeah, Newhart, or even the Bob Newhart show, because I watched some of it on Nick at Night, I think.
On Primetime. I mean, on a Prime.
Amazon Prime.
They have some, or at least they did.
You can buy it.
Yeah, I have some of the original Bob Newhart show, and I may have some of the Newhart. I'm not sure which. I want to get them all, of course, because I love them. And I wish they would sell Bob, because I'd have them all if I could, because I love Bob Newhart.
I bet now there should be some more availability of the show with him passing. I bet they're probably going to try to kick it up and make it easier available. I mean, they should. I mean, it's been a little while now. But of course, I heard that news on a day that I was having a bad day, and then that happened. And I think I remember posting it when I shared it on Facebook. I said, "This is not the day that I could deal with this."
I don't know if it was Tubi TV or Pluto, but one of them had him as well.
I went looking. I wasn't able to find it at the time. Hopefully, that's changed since then.
Well, I'll look around and see if I can get some.
Because I would like to be able to watch some classic Newhart here.
Yeah,
but I really need to wrap this up because we've almost gone 2 hours. So I do want to remind you all, when you go to neverlandpodcast.com, there is a logo there for Podgagement. That is Daniel J. Lewis's company, and he's making some new changes if you want to be able to get your reviews, plus a lot of other fun features for your podcast. He's got it all for you for a very low fee. It's really a wonderful service. It is fantastic. It's worth every dime. And Daniel J. Lewis is an award-winning podcaster. He got some awards at the podcast movement this past year. Very deserving, and he's just a great guy all around anyway. So, of course, now we want to make sure we thank Karen Kennedy, Ricky Pope of Christian Nerds Unite, and Darren Wilhite of the Wilhite and Wall Show for helping me out with the introduction to the show. Don't forget to email us, podcast@neverlandpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter or X at NeverlandPcast. We're on Facebook. I recommend following the group because I have an easier time sharing some fun things with the group, and I've been finding a lot of fun. Anything I find about an old retro toy or cartoon or show, I've been sharing it into the group and sometimes asking some fun questions in there. I feel like I'm more interactive with the group than what I can do on just the regular page, but go ahead and like the page too, because why not? And don't forget, of course, our patreon.com/Neverland Podcast. If you become a patron, you can get, this video that you're seeing, or if you're not seeing it, if you're not part of it. If you're on YouTube and you're trying to watch this, well, you're just going to have the album cover, because that's what Google Podcasts now does, and yeah, it's weird. But if you want to actually see video of us and all of our trailers and all the other stuff, you got to become a patron at Patreon. And don't forget, you can become an exclusive member through Red Circle. It's all going to be there in the show notes right there on your phone. You can become an exclusive member and at least eliminate the ads that you hear during the show. And that does help me out to help pay the cost of covering the cost that I have in this show. And heck, you might even, if enough of you start getting in there, believe me, you might be able to help me get more microphones to get these lapel mics. We start another podcast where we're going to watch movies together. You watch it with us. It'll be great. It'll be fun. Make sure you help us out. But until next time, you know what we always got to say, get lost.
That's right.
In an adventure. Yeah, we almost said it. We're just not together on these things anymore. But yes, we'll see you next time.